Hi everyone. I know it's been a minute since I made a vlog, so I am sitting down and putting together this one, which I call Bits and Bobs. I thought this would be a good time to do it because it's a slow moving morning for me. It's a 3-cup of coffee morning for me because last night, I don't know what the problem was, but Shadow woke me up twice to go outside. Probably some intestinal issues because that's the only time he will ever wake me up, and it doesn't happen very often at all. And of course, he spaced them out perfectly so that I really basically didn't sleep because I let him out and I have to wait for him and Rocky to come back in from the dark. God knows where they are, running wherever they're running on the farm. It's all fenced, but they can go a long ways checking out the property. And then, of course, I can't go back to sleep until I get them back in. I don't want to call too loudly because I have one neighbor that's fairly close. And I don't want to wake her up. So, yeah, I didn't sleep. Thank you, dogs. I've done these Bits and Bobs videos before. And so it's just a mishmash of stuff I've been collecting that doesn't quite warrant a vlog all on by itself. Yeah, 3 cups. Normally I drink 2. Once in a while, I'll have to do the 3rd. And today is one of those days. And don't worry, I am also hydrating. I have a big glass of water with lemon in it to try to help me out. All right, so first off, I played Boston recently. Hadn't been there in a while. Went with a new promoter, who I don't think I'll be using again because I don't think he promoted the gig. It was a nice venue. Well, I debated whether I would vlog today, and I forgot. I just got here. Where am I? I am in Boston at the Wilbur Theater. Pretty sure I've never played here. Nothing is ringing the bell. It's a very old theater. It's really cool looking out in the house, actually. I drove here with Eric because he lives right near me now. So we shared a ride, and I think we're the only 2 here so far. Waiting for the rest of the guys. And so we can do sound check. Meanwhile, I'll go right in and see what the building looks like.
I was gonna say, for me, I don't need. That's Dan's manager, man. Oh, no kidding.
Hello.
Here we go. Lost in Boston.
Are you sure the background looks awfully the same as everywhere?
We're at the Wilbur.
Wilbur.
Whoa, Wilbur.
Oh, you did a nice thing on that.
Yeah,
That's
because
really good.
Because this one was like too many pages for him to.
I kind of want a copy of this for myself.
I can email you that.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be so much easier than what I've got. I've got like pages upon. I mean, I know it, so I'm just not even looking at it. But
That's what I had, too many pages.
This is so hip, so much hipper. Good.
Because I'm so hip.
Look, you did it on a computer and everything. Yeah. You're very cutting edge.
Also, charade.
Charade.
Is this all new things
Man
you've
of
done?
La Mancha.
No, I just made.
Man of La Mancha.
You made cleaner copies?
I made cleaner copies.
Yeah, because he's not going to make all those 54. He's out on 1 gig.
I'm off 1 gig.
Oh, yeah.
Middle
My
shot.
Do we have-
daughter's getting married.
Tom Hubbard, who's fantastic.
He's
But
great.
someone I've never used before.
I use him all the time.
Yeah, cool.
He's great. He's great. And
You're
he's a
gonna like
really
him.
good
You're
guy.
gonna like him.
Is that the middle one? The middle gig? Well, then it's a good thing I separated them. Well, probably.
Billy, I feel kind of wounded right now.
Well, I don't keep him for his playing. No.
Say it's my winning personality and my charm, okay?
Get ready for the show. It's very dark in here. So, I have no idea what this is looking like. It's hard enough to see anyway. So wait, it's like, come on! Hey, what next? What next? I don't know. I hate doing makeup now. I'm so used to not wearing any. Still have 45 minutes. I got nothing to do. Just goofing around. Waiting to go on. And the audience was incredible. You guys were so much fun. Wow. You really made it a fun night for us. Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun show. And at that show, there was someone who, I was very nicely gifted some flowers by people as I was walking off the stage. And then also, during the show, was given some artwork by a man named Michael Sylvester. I couldn't see from the audience. I thought it was one of me and one of Josh Groban, because in the dark, I can't see well with the spotlights on. One portrait was of John Lennon. I'm not sure why he thought I wanted a John Lennon picture. I like John Lennon. I'm not an overly huge fan of John Lennon. I think I'm more of a Paul McCartney fan, but anyway, very good. And then the other one was of me. He took this from a video. And what do you think? Anyway, very, very nice of him. So thank you for that. And thanks again to everybody that came to the Boston show. Wow. You were a killer audience, right? Full of energy right from the get-go. And that always helps us. It just gives us adrenaline. And it had been a little while because I'd asked my agent to not book me, as I often do in the summertime. I want a few extra months just downtime to ride. And, when I'm in a position where I can afford to do that, time-wise and financially, then, why not? Life is short and, I'm not getting any younger. So I like to enjoy my time. And I obviously love summertime with horses. And so it had been a while since I did a gig. And, we rehearsed at sound check, but we didn't go through probably as many songs as we should because, my brain just, every now and then, and I haven't done these songs in a while, even though I've sung them forever, I make stupid little mistakes. Not things that the audience, for the most part, will even notice, but we notice, and the band and I look at each other like, what was that, Linda? What are you doing? Yeah, I think most of the mistakes were mine. Billy hit a few, but yeah, pretty much all of them were mine. Anyway, it was a fun night. Really fun. We had some absolutely gorgeous days. May and September, those are my two favorite months. Just absolutely gorgeous, like 70, 71, sunny, nice puffy clouds, and just beautiful. I don't know, is it possible to have a better sight than this from your kitchen sink? I don't think so. And I have been working like a dog out in my backyard, continuing on. This is Jake texting me. I'll talk about him in a second. Continuing to work on the project of trying to turn my backyard into like an English garden looking thing. So I ordered a big, huge load of mulch and went and bought 20 big boxes of cardboard from Home Depot and started making the beds with that no-dig method, which still involves a lot of digging when you're making beds as big as I am. You have to cut out the borders with a shovel, and then you lay cardboard over it and water it all down, and then you put mulch over that and water that all down, and then over the fall and winter it decomposes down, and supposedly by next spring you're ready to put your new plants in. So I did that. I was tired in the evenings because I worked, all day long. But we're starting to get there. I've got a lot more to go, but we're getting there bit by bit. Shovelful by shovelful. This is what's left of the giant pile of mulch. This is all going to be bed along here, but I haven't done that yet. But I did make this one a whole lot bigger. Alright, let's get the bait. Bring these guys in. is. This is biotin for their hair and feet. Mostly for their feet. Oh, they are ready to come in. They're waiting at the gate. You hungry for your grain, huh? Shadow, go get the minis. Leave them alone. You too. Okay, all right, all right. No, no. Come on, Bob. Come on, Breezy. Good girl. Shadow, come. Good boy. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Some weeks back, I've had a mangy fox on my property, and I think he was living up on this hay pile. Poor thing, doesn't have a lot of hair. I felt so bad for it. So I started putting out dog food, and it was disappearing, but slowly. I'm not sure if I'm feeding. At first, I'm pretty sure it was something big eating as I ate it fast, but now, because I haven't seen the fox, but. So I don't know what I'm feeding. Cats, rats, I'm not sure, but feeding something. And I am a proud mama again, and I am so proud of Jake because he is out on the road doing 6 shows, again with Gordon Lightfoot in the Midwest this time. They started in Kentucky, and then they went to Michigan, and then Wisconsin, and it's the Chicago area now, and then he's got 2 more to go, and then he'll be home, and I'm... he's just killing it. He's getting standing ovations, and the crowds are loving him. And he's playing these big venues. I know he's just having the time of his life, and that makes me feel so good for him. And I know he's learning, because it's just the best way to learn. You have to learn on the job in this business. You can't learn it off stage. It's just something that each show you do, you gain a little bit of knowledge and that you don't even know you're learning sometimes. It's just that whole thing of learning how to read the energy of a room and knowing how to put a show together and knowing how to, where the peaks and valleys of your show should be and how to keep it, consistent where you just have that audience through the whole show and you don't want to lose them. Keep that energy going. And he has a natural ability for it, but he hadn't done a lot of live performing, so it takes time to really hone that craft, and he's getting the most amazing opportunity out there right now. So happy for him. And this was meant to be a solo gig, just him and his guitar, which is what he had done the first 3 shows he did with Gordon, but I don't know. I wasn't comfortable with the idea of him out there driving those long distances because, Kentucky to Michigan, that's a long leg. And yes, he's 23 years old, and I shouldn't worry about him, but I do. He'd never done it before, and of course I worry, And if there's a way of making it happen, they don't have to worry, and it's more fun for him, all the better. So Drew, who plays bass and also guitar and sings, he's a wonderful musician, and he's in the band that Jake has. I think it is a lot more fun for Jake right now, having somebody, going on a road trip. It's always a lot more fun when you have someone to go with you. And another great thing about it is that Drew is a wonderful photographer and has taken some of the best photos of Jake. So he's able to, get photos along the way and help have content for the social media, which is really, really important. So anyway, thank you, Drew. Thanks for agreeing to go along. And I know you guys are having fun. Because what else are 2 20-something-year-old guys going to do but have fun on the road? Jake is doing really well. And what's fun is that he's getting to do more and more live performing. He's been performing at venues in Manhattan. And one of them was a great success for him because he's been playing open mic nights at Birdland for a long time. That's kind of how he started performing in Manhattan. Just going in and doing one song. And got to know the people there really well. And the owner took him downstairs when they were building the theater that they added in the basement, the one where I saw Marilyn May. he had taken Jake down there to show him the room, and he told him, one day you're going to play this room. And sure enough, it happened. It was great. I went into the city to see him. I invited my friends, my very good friends Molly and Gail, and Ellen. Of course, Ellen was there to support Jake. She's always so wonderful and supportive. And then I also had invited one of my voice students, and she's young 20s, and she invited 4 of her young 20s girlfriends, which is what I wanted. When we got into the room, they had me at my table right in the front. I said, no, Jake doesn't want me in the front. Let's put these young girls in the front, because that's the kind of crowd he wants. It was great. The audience was wonderful. The place was pretty much almost full. They were really receptive. I know, just watching him, I knew he was just having a ball. He was feeling really good. He had the whole band there, and they're all such great players. And it was a really big success for him.
I think that Mercy, she kinda hated this town. Packed up and moved on, told us to figure it out. I think we're hopeless. Everybody knows it's harder to forgive than letting Mercy go. There was a girl named Mercy, walking eggshell. If you had words, she'd be faithful when all was hurting. She'd say, don't look down. No one can find it now. Hard to come back, foolish to let go. She'd captured starlight, fire like in the going. If she's still out there, hope before the end, I should come back again. I'm all night dreaming of flying, no fun to the wings I'm trying. Some days I can never believe I see everyone working through to for me. It's a long way down. One step we can hit the ground. I've been up here trying to sing the blues till the rain comes in and I like the routine. This is how you want, this is how you talk, this is how you make it, make it. This is how you want, this is how you talk, this is how you make it till it feels like a man on a wire. On a step, flame getting high. Oh, I can barely breathe. Show now trying to get to me. I mean, all night dreaming of flying. No further to the wings I'm trying. Some days I can never leave. It's the end of the world for working through what's in front of me. I want to shit on the guys that pay me on I could really use a friend. We're doing that verse again. Is it creed? I want you, but honestly, I need somebody. I need someone to help me. Somebody. I need somebody. Just looking for a new one, trying to find a way to feel it. I'm lost and afraid where I've been. I could use a friend, not one that's standing in the rain. Someone I knew, mine to be seen. No, nothing to stay out there, baby. I could use a
We had planned it that we would ride home together. He took the train in earlier, and then he, of course, wanted to go out with his band. So he said, "You want to come?" I said, "Can we do this?" I said, "Absolutely. I'm not going to not do this." So, and I had a really good time with these young people. Here I am, the old lady, but because I'm a musician, I had plenty I could talk with them about, and I felt at home. They made me feel at home, not like the old lady sitting with the kids at the kiddie table. We went to a really good restaurant and sat there and had a good time, and I was just happy for Jake, really, really happy. It's what he wants, and it's a scary and hard business to get into, even worse, I think, nowadays. So, yeah, it was good. Good night. Yeah, Rocky. Hold on a second. I gotta let them out. I say we, like I'm English, but it kind of feels that way. The Queen of England, who'd been in place all of our lives. Wow. I hate endings, I'm not sad in the sense she was 96 years old. Her husband lived to be 99. I mean, we should all be that lucky to live that long and that good a health that she had all those years. So I'm not sad in that sense, but I am. What actually makes me sad is come on, let's face it, the life that she led. And I know she sacrificed becoming the queen. She didn't want to be the queen. She wanted to be actually just own a farm and raise children and horses. I can relate. That's really all she wanted. But duty called, and she became the queen, and she did I think, a very good job of it. But she still lived an amazing life. And I just think, wow, she doesn't get to do that anymore. She doesn't get to be in those amazing places and ride those amazing horses in that amazing countryside. And I don't know, just live that life. I mean, that had to end, and that part of it makes me sad. But endings, it's really the whole idea about endings. I hate endings. I always have. I think maybe it's because we moved so much as a kid, and things were always coming to an end because we moved to such different places. For 4 years we lived on a 40-acre hobby farm where I had my horses and all kinds of animals, and that to me was heaven. And then we had to move, and we moved to a lake, which was fun, living on a lake, but I lost all the animals, and everything always was a change. And I don't know. I don't like change. Never have. Never will. Unless, I guess, change for the better is good. Yes, of course, but endings. I guess it's endings. That's makes me sad. Anyway. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. Actually, if there is such a thing as reincarnation, I am definitely reincarnated from someone English living in England because I love it. If I could do it all again, have another life, I would want this time to be born a upper middle class, or slightly wealthy English girl who just did a life of horses in the English countryside. That would be sheer heaven. Love that. One thing that I've been working on is changing up the show again. It's time to do something new. So there are some songs that I've been playing around with. And then, we had some people pass recently. And people in my life that passed recently. And one of the people that we all know, of course, is Olivia Newton-John, who I was a huge fan of. So I started playing around with some of her material. And anyway, I've come up with the idea of doing I'm going to call it the tribute tour. So I'm going to be putting in songs, very well-known songs by people who are no longer with us. And the guys and I got together for a rehearsal in Manhattan at Euphoria Studios a few days ago. And of course I had to drive in on an absolutely gorgeous day. The next day it was going to be pouring rain when I was going to be home. And the day I had to go into Manhattan, it had to be perfect. That was frustrating. Alright, I said I'd vlog, and now I'm bummed that I have to go into rehearsal because it's an absolutely glorious day weather-wise. 71 degrees, sunny with little puffy white clouds, and dry. And the last thing I want to do is go into Manhattan on a day like this, especially because tomorrow it's supposed to rain. Yeah, frustrating. sitting at home, having fun, doing some recordings of, and since it was time to change up the show, I decided why not? Why not? So, we'll see how these go. Well, that got a little hairy there for a second, because the mobile station that I always stop at is being rebuilt or something. I don't know. It's
After 2 miles.
under construction and closed, and I couldn't believe it. I need gas and I needed a pit stop desperately, so I just got off at like the next exit. I have no idea where I was, winding around looking, trying to find a gas station, asking people walking along the road, and found a very cute little full service gas station, and they had a bathroom, thank God. So now I'm back on the road. The rehearsal was really fun. It was, I had booked out 4 hours. We didn't actually need it all. But the songs, I think, just fun. They're fun to sing, and it makes me kind of excited to put them into the show. So I'm hoping to put most of them into the 54 Below show that I have coming up. I have 3 shows coming up at 54, like always, but this time I asked them to, I asked my agent to ask 54 Below if I'd be okay if I just spread them out. I don't like doing more than one night in a row, and if you know me, you've probably heard me bitch about that before. Pardon my French. I just don't like it. I don't like that feeling of repeating. You know, theater's one thing, that's different. But when I do my own show, especially if I feel like I'm on that night and I'm funny and, you know, I'm getting my patter right, I don't like to try to do it again the next night because it's too close to the one I just did, and I'm remembering that one, and if it's not coming out the same, I get a little frustrated. So plus, vocally, at my age, I don't like to do that either. I'd rather rest my voice. So I asked Dave, my agent, to ask 54 Below, and they said okay. So we spread them out. They're close together, but they're spread out. And the other reason I wanted to do it is because at 54 Below, I always like the first night because I go in early, which means parking is easier. And then we have a nice long rehearsal, and that gets me all nice, slowly warmed up, because the dressing room there, it's a nice dressing room, but right outside is a big, huge table in a room where the people who work there end up having meetings, so I can't warm up. Because I know they're one little thin wall away, and they're just going to hear me, and I can't do it, so I hate it. So, and then also there are acts that play after. I always play the 7 o'clock show, and then there's another act after that, so the way they do the sound check, whoever goes first does the sound check last, so that's all ready to go. But then they change it, you know, it's changed for the next show that's coming on. And so the next day, I drive in later, which means it's a little hard, and sometimes it just feels riskier parking. Sometimes the parking right next to the venue is full, and that's stressful. And then I try to warm up in the car on the way in, which I don't really like to do. And then I can't really warm up that well when I'm there. So I don't know, I just don't like it. So I asked Dave to do it this way, and we'll see. This is an experiment, but I think it'll work out well because I'll be able to do a sound check rehearsal before each show. Maybe we'll just do the first 2 and not the third, and because we're putting in maybe 5 new songs, I'm going to need that rehearsal. Absolutely going to need rehearsing with the band more.
Go to double bar. I just wanted to keep everything even. You're on.
Sweet dreams of you. So as I said, the rehearsal went really, really well. The arrangements played down great. You know, my guys are great anyway. So, well, I had a good time, and I ended up not using the 4th hour. I just said to her, let's go. And that way, because we started at noon, and I wanted to, you know, if I get out of the city before 4 o'clock, you know, it's a lot easier to get home. Except there was an accident just north of the West Side Highway. Euphoria is down on 27th Street. I think it took me an hour on the West Side Highway just to go about 50 blocks. Okay, rehearsal went well, really well. In fact, we ended an hour early because we didn't need the extra time. but I'm still trying to get out of the city. Apparently there was an accident up ahead of here and it's down to one lane, so just on the West Side Highway, crawling. I just want to get home. I don't know if you can see this, but we went to Starbucks for a break during rehearsal, and I opened the lid to stir it, and I guess I didn't put it on right, and I dumped it down the front of my shirt. Yeah, I'm walking around Manhattan with a big stain. I really hate driving into the city. Like Shasha Kapoor and Green Acres and him. Not her husband. Give me the country air. Simple life. That is me. Oh my God. It's been an accident. Just getting past the accident is going to take 1 hour and 7 minutes, according to the GPS thing. And my ride home, which should take normally 1 hour and something, it's like 2.5 hours. Ah! Don't want to spend this gorgeous day inside a car any more than I have to. Yeah. It was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Here I am looking at this gorgeous weather, thinking I was going to get home in time to ride and enjoy some time outside, and I didn't get home till 6 o'clock. I left at 3. I didn't get home till 6 o'clock. I was taking all these, because it wasn't just that, it was other things and detours, and I chose the sawmill rather than the other route cross county, and it was the wrong choice. There was more construction and stuff, and yeah, I was going a little bit crazy in the car, but that's the brakes. One of the things that I did last month, the end of last month, the 23rd of August is Jake's birthday, and the 25th is my dad's birthday, so made a plan to go to Minnesota and visit with Jake. We took the dog, so of course we drove. Jake hates it. But, I want to bring the dogs, and I actually like to drive, and I like the time with him, with Jake. It's an isolated period of time where we spend a lot of time together, and we end up having talks, and it's just good. Anyway, we had a wonderful trip home. Everyone was good.
Yeah, same thing. It wasn't very good.
Hey, everybody. Wave.
Who's that?
Who dat?
It's me.
Nothing interesting. It sounded like something.
And then, my mom has that cat, and it was interesting because while I was home, my sister-in-law, Diane, said, everybody in the family will all worry about what would happen if the cat, was lost or something happened to the cat, because my mom lives for that cat. She keeps her inside. She's had her for about, I think, 2.5 years now, 3 years maybe. Well, wouldn't you know, a week after I get home, I get a call from Diana saying my dad got up at 4 a.m. and accidentally let the cat out. He opened the deck door and the cat got out. And my heart just sank. I couldn't sleep that night. I talked to my mother. She sounded, she was trying to sound okay, I think, for all of our sakes, but I just knew that if the cat really was gone, that was going to be bad. Just bad. Because my dad is also an animal lover, and that cat, he always had dogs, but he doesn't want a dog anymore because he's not mobile enough, and they thought a cat would be better. And she entertains them so much. She's just the funny cat and running around, and they watch her and they just love that, and he loves it. And then he had that guilt of knowing he would have been the one that let her out. Well, wouldn't you know, that cat came back 2 mornings later. There she was on the deck. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. Thank you. Oh, I had said to my mother when I called her as soon as I found it, I said, well, don't give up hope. You know, cats are resilient. She's just out there having a good time and she'll come back. But in my heart, did I really believe that? You know, I've lost so many cats to coyotes and cars and horrible things. And when they get out, so I was worried, so worried. But thankfully, it all worked out fine. And Kitty, that's her name, is just fine. I'm happy to be back. She looked like, I guess, like she was happy to be home. Slept a lot when she got back. God knows what she was up to, but she made it back. That's all that matters. I don't think this cup's really going to help me. It's just going to make me start buzzing and vibrating, and then I'm going to crash. I know. Of course, I have been doing horsey stuff. I have had some lessons, and I've also had some great tarot rides. This is the time of year that horse people live for, so.
I don't do it anymore.
I don't say anything you wouldn't want anyone to hear. Don't let them hear all the gossip we've been doing. No, we haven't been gossiping.
No face of terror right now. No.
There used to be a trail going straight across.
Yeah, I think we go. Who has that big horse over there? He was sick. Maybe I already told you.
So Courtney had to pee, so now she's got no kidding.
Hey, I have done that before.
She just fixed us out, but
Boy, stop eating the grass.
that's Hops. He was a successful racehorse, now enjoying a life of dressage and trail riding. One thing, I was going to do the regional championships again this year because I qualified. I qualified for level 1 now. I've moved up to level 1. I qualified right away in my first 2 shows. I was, wow, couldn't believe it. And one of them, I would have had my personal best score. I did, except they had to take away 6 points because, as I mentioned before, I forgot the test twice. Yeah, brain like a steel trap. Anyway, I thought, great, I have all summer now to really work on this test and get it even better, and we're going to just rock in the regionals. I had a couple other shows that I was planning to do. Actually, maybe just one other one that I was planning to do before it, and then work got in the way of that one. I didn't end up going to that one. And then as the regionals have been getting closer, they would be actually right now. I would be there right now. Then Jake got the 6 gigs with Gordon Lightfoot, so he wasn't going to be home, and that throws a monkey wrench into things because I would have needed somebody then to hire somebody to take care of the horses and the dogs, and I just really wasn't looking forward to doing that. And then I started thinking maybe I'll just go to, instead of doing, I usually would write a test, enter one of the same test that's not for the regional finals the day before it, ride that test. And I started thinking, well, maybe I'll just go up and do it a day of show, but then you don't get the pre-ride in the ring, and you don't get them used to it, and we hadn't been to a lot of shows this summer, so I just thought, nah, it's not worth it. I'm happy to know I qualified and that we're doing well, and I'll just aim for hopefully next year. It's the way it goes. I don't take as many lessons in the summertime when my ring is rideable. I ride at home, and then I also don't push him that hard because I want him to enjoy himself and be a happy horse, and he is, because we do lots and lots of trail riding. And then in the wintertime I'll take 1 and sometimes twice a week, lessons. But in the summer I don't do it as much. I really try to mix it up for him. So I'm not trying to get there fast. I'm just trying to do it in a happy, fun way for both of us. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Good boy. Well, that's it. It's a beautiful day again today. So many projects that I would love to do. I know I don't think I look too tired, but I don't think I'm gonna get much done today. I can just tell. We'll see. We'll try. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this little vlog, and I'll see you next time.